Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. This is an interesting video for sure because we are going over some concepts of artificial intelligence and we are going to do that in the form of a story of a project manager. And this is going to give you a great brief overview of all of these different concepts. Artificial intelligence, as you know, is the buzzword, and all of us need to be aware of what's going on in this world. So, what are the topics that we will cover today? We'll talk about robotic process automation, also known as RPA. We will talk about IA, which is intelligent automation, which includes concepts like machine learning, process mining, task mining. Then we'll talk about generative AI, your chat GPT stuff. We'll talk about AI agents. We'll also talk about artificial general intelligence, AGI. And towards the end, we'll talk about the other side of the coin, which is also going to be of interest for all of you. So stick around till the end to understand all of what we are talking about. By the way, as I mentioned, this is not a technical video at all. This is a brief overview, non-technical, in the form of a story, the story of a project manager named Edwin. So Edwin, the project manager, he basically automated himself out of the job by making use of all these different AI concepts that I just spoke of, right? So Edwin started automating little things to make his life easier. And it began as a time saving hack, but it turned into a full blown journey through the world of artificial intelligence and automation. So let's go through Edwin's journey of how it all unfolded. So we start things off with robotic process automation, as I mentioned earlier, right? RPA. You can think of RPA as macros, but they are smarter. RPA is going to basically automate your repetitive task. RPA simply follows rules, it doesn't think about anything. So, back to our story. Edwin, the project manager, right? It all started with the boring stuff. Edwin used to fill out same forms every week, and he was basically copy pasting the same email every single day. So, his soul was slowly dying in Excel. Microsoft Excel, that is. So that's when he met RPA, Robotic Process Automation. Basically, what RPA is that you teach software bots how to do repetitive rule based tasks, and they just do it, right? So if you want the bot to click somewhere, or if you want the bot to paste something somewhere, if you want the bot to send an email again and again without ever rolling their eyes, bots can do that. That's what RPA is all about. So that's what Edwin did. He set up bots, not exactly bots like these, but Edwin set up software bots to handle, let's say, timesheet reminders, expense approvals, and even those, hey team, please update your Jira kind of emails, right? Bots did not complain, they did not forget, and they did not even took any breaks. So that's what RPA is all about. Think of RPA as repetitive task, which is something that you can automate and you can let bots take care. As I mentioned earlier, bots do not mean bots like these, right? This is just a representation. Now let's talk about IA, or intelligent automation. This is where smarter bots are actually going to take over. So you include artificial intelligence with RPA and you will get smarter decision. IA is going to make predictions as well, making use of machine learning. IA understands patterns with process mining and task mining. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we will talk about three things in this section of IA. We are talking about machine learning, we are talking about process mining, and we are talking about task mining. So let's get back to our story, right? Edwin obviously wanted more bots that do more stuff, not just, button clicks. So what he wanted to do was to have bots think a little bit as well. And that is where intelligent automation came into the picture. So this is like giving your RPA, the robotic process automation thing, you give that a brain upgrade. So you still have the bots doing tasks for you. These are obviously software bots, but now they are paired with artificial intelligence as well. So what they are now able to do is that they are able to learn from data and they are able to make some decisions as well. As an example, Edwin used machine learning, which is just a fancy way of saying the bot finds patterns in data and gets better over time. So the bot has access to loads of data where the bot can go over that data and is able to find patterns so that it gets better over time. That's what machine learning is all about. So that's what Edwin used. Now, one bot could predict which task might miss deadlines based on the patterns, of course. There could be another bot, and it can flag, if the invoice that Edwin needs to approve is pretty high or is unusually high. Remember, in the RPA world, the invoice would get approved, right? Because that's what Edwin trained the bot to do. But here the bot is making some decisions. It is thinking a little. It is going over the library of data that it has, and it is identifying an invoice if it is unusually high. Smash that like button if you are getting value out of this video so far. It helps us stay motivated and create more free content for you. By the way, let's talk about process mining and task mining. These are fancy terms, of course, but basically they spy on how work actually gets done. Process mining looks at logs from systems to find bottlenecks, and task mining watches where people click around to find repeatable actions. So what it is doing is it is not recording your screen, it is not recording your logs, it is just going over all of that to find patterns. That is what task mining and process mining are doing. And remember, this is what we mentioned on this slide here, right? Understand patterns with process mining and task mining. This is what these two concepts are all about. The result is that the bots, they don't just work, they work smartly. Let's move on to the next concept, which is generative AI. This is everyone's favorite, right? This is your chat GPT as well. Generative AI. It can create text, it can create images, it can write code. It is perfect for reports, emails, summaries of the meetings, of course, and chat GPT, but it is on your payroll if you create it. So if Edwin created chat GPT, that was obviously something on Edwin's payroll, right? So after RPA and IA comes a phase where Edwin made use of generative AI, right? This is a tool that could actually write, and it could write really well. These tools, the generative AI tools, they don't just process information, they can create stuff from scratch as well. So far, if you recall, what we were doing using RPA and using IA was that we already had some steps that we wanted bots to take. But generative AI can write stuff for you. It can write code. It can generate stuff, right? So if you give generative AI a prompt, it is going to write a project report. It can summarize a client meeting. It can even draft that awkward "we are behind schedule" email for Edwin. So Edwin used it to generate documentation, to update RAID logs. Do you remember RAID? RAID. That's RAID for you, right? Do you remember what RAID is? Let me know in the comments, and excuse me for my writing skills. But RAID logs is something that ChatGPT or any other generative AI software can update for Edwin. It can even spice up any stakeholder updates that need to go out, right? So honestly speaking, AI can sound much more like Edwin over the course of time. As AI gets used to what Edwin's draft emails or draft reports look like, it can identify Edwin's tone and it can generate text based on that tone. And what this means is Edwin can send emails generated by generative AI and nobody will even know that it's not Edwin. Let's move on to the next concept, which is AI agents. And this is really the next step after generative AI. This is where bots make decisions, they are goal driven, and they are even semi autonomous. They can plan steps, they can act independently. These are less bot, but these can be more of an intern for you, right? So these are not just bots, these can be treated more like interns. They have some initiative, they have some intuition as well. So AI agents is the point where things start getting way too clever. At this point, Edwin wasn't just dealing with tools that waited for him to enter a prompt, then click on run, and that's where the email gets generated. What AI agents do is that they are bots with goals and the smarts to figure out how they will get to that goal. As an example, assume that AI agents are given an outcome. Edwin tells the AI agents that they should warn him if the team is running understaffed. So they should monitor the resource availability, the team resource availability, that is, and the AI agents should warn Edwin if they are running understaffed. And this is something that AI agents can actually do. They will go and fetch data from wherever it is stored. They can scan the team resources calendars. They can even ping teammates to get more data, right? And this is something that they can do all by themselves. So think of these AI agents like interns, right? Interns do not necessarily need a lot of supervision. Interns might, but these AI agents will not once you tell them what their goals are. So think of AI agents as interns who actually read the onboarding document, right? Who actually read what is required from them. And it is possible that these AI agents can actually delegate some subtask to another AI agent, right? So that is also possible. A question for you here: have you ever used an AI agent as a project manager, of course, in your projects? Let me know in the comments. Definitely looking forward to your answer and your experience with AI agents. Let's move on and let's talk about artificial general intelligence. And this is actually the scary stuff. This is where AI is going to get a human like understanding across different domains. Now, remember, this is not real yet. We might be getting close there, but this is not something that exists today. AGI does not exist today. It can become your coworker, but it can also become your boss. So what are we talking about here, right? Artificial general intelligence, or AGI, is basically the idea that one day we will build an AI that's as smart and as flexible as a human. So AI is not going to be good at just one task, like, reading emails or analyzing spreadsheets, but they can do everything. They can reason, they can learn, they can adapt, they can handle any project, any problem, any domain whatsoever, right? Obviously, this does not exist yet, at least not fully, but we might be getting there. And when it arrives, Edwin might only be another participant in the project kickoff meeting, right? Nothing else, because everything else will be taken care by AGI. So, obviously, as I mentioned, we are not there, and this is where the other side of the coin comes into the picture. This is where I want to talk about artificial intelligence and humans. This is the other side of the coin, right? Humans have evolved over millions and millions of years. And you cannot necessarily automate all that evolutionary brain power in a matter of years, right? That is why AGI is difficult. In fact, there is something known as Moravec's paradox. And what it suggests is that things that are easy for humans are hard for computers, and vice versa. things that are easy for humans, they are actually hard for computers, and vice versa. Think of it, right? In simple terms, computers or AI, they are great at tasks that require logic, that require math, that require data processing, like playing chess or solving equations. But AI and bots struggle with tasks that humans do effortlessly, like walking, recognizing faces, or understanding emotions. This is something that AI cannot do yet. And this happens because, as I mentioned, human brains have evolved over millions of years to perform these sensory, motor, and perceptual tasks. This is like seeing, walking, grasping, and we have been able to do these extremely efficiently. And these seem very easy to us because they are deeply ingrained, but these tasks are incredibly complex to program. And this is the reason why all of us might have seen some videos where there's a robot, but that robot cannot walk, or there's a robot that just falls over every time it starts to run, right? So in contrast, obviously logical reasoning or algebra, which is something which is very hard for us, is actually relatively simple to code, and generative AI or artificial intelligence can go over that code and is able to perform such tasks incredibly easily. So, what do you think about this other side of the coin? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about Moravec's paradox? Do you agree that things that are very, very easy for us are incredibly complex for computers? Let me know in the comments. Definitely looking forward to your answers. My only call to action would be to subscribe to us so that you stay up to date with what's happening in the world of project management. Keep learning, check out our other videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.